Well, back in session, thank you. I appreciate it, Greg. So 11.4 is the people report, Stephen, please.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Chair. And again, I'll take the report as read, and I'm going through this on behalf of May. You'll see just a couple of points. You'll see that we're accommodating the changes to the ERA in a couple of ways. One is the removal of that 30-day rule, which means now new employees aren't sort of automatically subject to the collective. They have 30 days to consider whether they want to be subject to its terms or not. And there's a few other things as well, like there's a gateway test as part of the amendments where someone's determined to be a contractor or an employee, and that's probably as a consequence of those Uber cases that we've seen really recently. So we are making adjustments to accommodate the ERA amendments. In the dashboard, you'll see there's some good signs. Our leave liability has dropped, which is always a good sign, and you'd expect to see that post Christmas. And we're also happily filling some key roles that have been vacant for some time. And one example of that is the Senior Advisor Assets and GIS, which is a role that has just been desperately needed for us as we seek to improve our to achieve a more sophisticated understanding of our assets. It's hard to do that without a technical specialist to lead that work. So there's some good news in that dashboard. Just if I may, going back to that earlier conversation that was raised by the Mayor on the risk of losing key individuals, that single point of failure. You'll see in the risk table we cover that. I don't think we're going to be able to give a satisfactory answer to how we mitigate. We basically try and be the best employer we can. We provide the best possible employee experience, the best salary we can, professional development opportunities. We make our offering as good as we can. We also are trying to create cover and trajectory within the teams where it's possible. It isn't always. Well, it's very rarely possible to hire two people to do the one thing in the business, but where there is a high demand and it's a strategic priority that we must pursue aggressively, we're trying to create trajectory and cover. Other than that, it's just the normal stuff around handover and making sure we try and pass the institutional knowledge through to new people coming into the business. As I say, it's probably not a full enough answer, but you'll see that it's covered there in the table. And that's probably all from me, Chair, but happy to take questions and comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Stephen, and appreciate you sending in for May, but that's correct. Comments or questions for Stephen?
Chair, just a question on the data sheet related to headcount. See, it's now 76 FTE. How does that compare to the previous 2 years?
Well, I doubt it not moved by much. I think it was 73.
Last year was 72 point something, wasn't it? I think, Councillor, to give you a fully accurate answer, I might have to come back to you. But my understanding that we're fairly stable, might have crept up 2 or 3 from the previous year.
Just it's just a comment because I think there's a risk there from a perception perspective. Yeah.
Will that include the waterkeeper?
It'll include all full-time employees, so no.
So Pat and Tim?
Yep.
So through the chair, at least 3 of those people are the local waters Dorval transition team, which whilst we employ them, we share the cost across the 4 councils. Because one of us has to employ them.
Post transition, you might see that number dip, councillor, depending on what other demand we have.
Just a further question, Chair, in terms of length of service and in terms of retirement leave provisions and things like that, is there a liability, Charlie, cost?
We don't have retirement leave. We have long service after 2 years, I think. So there aren't many people.
Not many people.
Association with it. Yes.
Right, thanks. Couple.
Rachel.
That was my question. I was just wanting to check if that amount was kind of within COE for what you would expect to be carrying as an organism. But clearly, if there's not many people getting there, then that's probably fine.
No flag on that, councillor, no.
It's a good set of questions and cooey. Shouldn't you be at home in cable? Oh, I know, it's where I lived it, but it's more just where I come from, so I love it, within Cooey. It's also a very accurate tune as well, it gives you a little leeway. Okay, any other questions for Stefan on this? You know, I think Stefan, we're it's firstly good analysis, good to understand the strategy. I sense we will come back to this when we get to our workshop as well, which is really helpful to have this as a background to it. Okay, so the recommendations we received a report, we know the information. I'll move in a second, please. Thank you, Colin. I'll second it. All those in favour, please say aye. Those against, it's carried. Thank you. Capital projects summary. James, welcome to the meeting. You've been long suffering sitting there, mate. But welcome to the meeting. This is really important. So appreciate your comments, please.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, everybody. So like others, I'll take this report as read, but I wanted to just touch a few areas. I realised a bit of a typo in the purpose section there. It's not a small number of our projects, it's all of our CapEx projects that's within the infrastructure and community ops group. Looking at things at a high level, so I know from the last training, Chair, you were looking at things from that perspective. Majority of these projects are due for completion by 30 June. Some of those will carry over, particularly in the water space, as you'll see from the delivery dates that are in there. We've got some pretty good project management capability in-house now, so managing risks in particular and other project management methodology pieces within each project. Each of those project lines is calling out a few sort of key risks. Those risks are then in turn laddered up where they need to be to the overall risks of the business. And if there are any missing, then we would just need to have a check on that. But there's nothing in there that's risk-wise, nothing that's new or significant. One other thing you'll see from a financial point of view, we're looking to make a number of savings across the Waters Capital program in particular. So we're looking to bring a paper to the Infrastructure Committee, and I don't know potentially whether it comes to this committee as well, with options on what we could do with those savings. So that's a paper that's yet to come. Generally, the teams across the 3 business units here are making really good progress, I think, on those projects, and you'll see some pretty rapid progress compared to, let's just say, the past in the water space as well. So we're pretty pleased with the progress that's happening there. So on that note, we'd just welcome any questions.
Thanks, James. Appreciate that. Please, Chris.
I guess the one that stood out to me was the renewal river pipeline. Excuse my Australian, but Tafra Nikau, is that right?
Close.
There's a bit of an issue here about pipe design, and can you maybe talk a bit about that one? This This is what we kind of pushed through, wasn't it? Like late last year.
Yeah, that's actually, it's actually making some huge progress compared to where it was at. And cutovers are expected pretty soon there. So that relates to, I guess, the information or lack of information that was on hand about the actual pipes, where valves were or weren't. There's a bit of discovery, I guess you could say, that was happening throughout that project. Obviously, most of it's, from what's been exposed in the river, is underground. So that's what that is referencing there.
Cool. Do you think it's going to blow out much from what your expectations were?
No.
That's fine.
And when we were kids, we called it Tiranikau. That's what it used to be. Before they started using Te Reo pronunciation.
Come on, Fran, we want to get it right. Come on, please.
James, I just note on your capital projects dashboard about the Featherston toilet upgrades. It concerns me that you've got contractor availability and delivery may not align with financial year, which I have to say I'm not particularly happy about. And one is that have we opened it up to perhaps other contractors who may have the time to do this job on time? Question. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor.
We hadn't asked him.
Yeah, guess that one there is a risk that's been recorded. That actually probably coming and being an issue, I think, is quite narrow. You see there the delivery we're expecting on that in June 26. So we're expecting that within this current financial year, and really that's probably one of those we've sort of done a bit of a thematic of the risks across the program, and contractor availability, construction seasons and everything are one of those key risks that comes up. But the likelihood of it,
Yes,
I would like to say it's pretty low.
well, you were sort of aligning that with another job at the same time. Were you going to get the advantage of doing another toilet at the same time or something else?
Yes.
Yeah, So, but just as long as there's no barriers in the way for getting this project out of the way, because one of the things you've highlighted there is reputational damage. Well, it's key. Yeah, absolutely. Because us people, that's got it on the street.
And one thing we have looked at across the capital program is seeing where we can make some efficiencies and make it more attractive to the market by bundling things up. And refurbishments is one. We've done similar in the wastewater treatment plants, which is out to tender at the moment. So where we can make those efficiencies, make it more attractive, we do.
I'd just like to take a step back and see if everyone understands what this report actually is saying. Because the whole purpose of this is, what is the objective? What are the implications of non-delivery, and then the risk and mitigation strategy for it? And that delivery, red, amber, green. If it's green, it means that we've mitigated risk and it's very likely to deliver.
Yeah.
If it's red, it's not. And if it's the yellow amber colour, then we've got issues to work through. So even though it's there and it's got contractor availability and delivery may not align, that's the risk and the mitigation that we're putting in place. But it's green, Councillor Olds. So.
Thank you, Madam CEO.
And I guess just on that thread too, that red, amber, green, you see a slight difference between the different business units and the templates there. That's based on delivery to June 26. So there is one of them there that's expected to be over that time. It's a red, but we're still looking at an October delivery date. There are a couple there, and
It's the next financial year.
yes,
Yeah.
correct.
Some of these might happen next year, so.
Yes, that's right.
Thanks, James. Appreciate it.
Actually, just a comment and three questions, if I might. James, I find this a very useful document. It's a comment, and it actually does bring council up to date with some of the issues that are there in the capital delivery space for that. So I suppose, how often do we get to see it? Quarterly production or about yearly or an annual? Or
So this report.
Yeah.
So this particular report comes to every ARF meeting, and a similar report comes to the infrastructure as well, where infrastructure will quite rightly go into the detail of per project
Right.
versus this committee, which tends to look from a higher level.
Sorry.
The reason that I am keen that we see this is indeed at that high governance level. I
Yes.
appreciate.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, no trouble with the question, Colin, but I appreciate that you may well have specific project issues, but I'm more interested in actually the REV agreement and the con.
Yeah.
For the reasons that actually I hope we also start to dream with our, obviously, our strategic risks, one being around critical asset failure. These ones are turning over, renewing new assets, number one. So it's addressing that issue. Number two, it's also addressing our financial risk, or rather it's part of parcel understanding the nature of its financial risk. Indeed, Charlie, you said, for instance, I think soon you're going to try and assess what will be the debt level we have an association with us. So I'm interested in how, big picture, this fits with our strategy, as in contrast to what you clearly will do at the infrastructure committee, James, which is probably go through in big detail.
Well, that was part of the questions I had. So there are 3 projects here, which are probably, I just have a few queries about. One is the Greytown Green Space, which is a $2 million project, which has actually got a RAG status of red against it, and the commentary would suggest some quite significant issues around it, and so I think it might be a bit of
Yeah, that's a live issue.
yeah,
Yeah.
real live issue. Thanks. The second one was in relation to the speed review, which took into account the whole of South Wairarapa, but I thought the amount of just over $500,000 seemed quite large, and I just would, at some point, it'd be useful to have a breakdown of what the costs were associated within that. And the last one is relation to the bridge strengthening, and you've just got there's $250,000 here, and it's orange. From what I saw, I would have thought that's right. And is that figure that's budgeted there enough for what we need?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
So that was one thing that I read my own scribble of my own notes actually, and something needing to make sure on the section that we have actually got it in our organisational risk strategies around bridges. We've taken councillors out on a tour of the district in some key areas, and certainly we're like Stefan mentioned is the next or one of those high things, and so definitely not in there. We have an infrastructure strategy being developed, which we have to develop, and that this time around won't have water, and it will just be roading. So that will touch on those as well. And we've got some other operational review work that's going on as well to look at priority bridges, how we address that. But to your point, from a bigger picture, we'll certainly need to have more discussion about that issue and what we do. And unfortunately, we're not alone. It's pretty much a national issue as well.
Chief, can I just go from the sublime to the ridiculous back to the page 100 and the community assets? Can't find it. Oh, it's tiny. Yeah, page 136, the Farley Avenue linear reserve planning and seating. I presume that was part of the deal with the developer. Is that right? It's a tiny amount of money, but why on earth are we putting seating there? Because I don't know who's going to use it.
Exactly. That's maybe we can talk about this
Here every day, at least once.
My understanding that, if my memory serves me right, was that developer was supposed to have delivered a few things and they didn't for various reasons, and then that has come to us to complete that delivery.
What happened to the developer? Did we not? I mean, do we know why it wasn't delivered? I would have thought that was part of the subdivision consent.
I don't have that off the top of my head.
Yeah, no, but I mean, that sort of thing we shouldn't allow to happen if the developer has, I mean, some tree planting can be great there, but I wouldn't put any seats there. The only people that there are the people that live there.
Well, the amount of the week where you ran over.
Yeah, that's right. You haven't, yeah. No, I didn't nearly run them over. But seriously, I mean, that's only a tiny bit of money, but that's, if a developer doesn't deliver, I think we need to follow up on it, whatever they were supposed to do.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Anything else, folks? James, overall, I think we have certainly the impression, and if I look at it from that higher level, I'm hearing quite a bit of confidence about meeting the program by 30 June, more or less. I think I've said before, Fran, I'm more interested in actually over 3 years with your infrastructure strategy coming over 3 years. Do we average those sorts of numbers rather than the necessarily ups or downs in any one year? As long as we're trending up towards that total delivery, but that sounds positive. So I'll take it from this and thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent. Can I move up to the resolution, which is that we receive James's report and we note the information. Moving to Stephen. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Colin. All those in favour, please say aye. Carried. Thank you. Get back to my from here, Amy. Move now to the resolution to move into PX. Legal update and cyber security. I've read the reason, but I think it's damn good reasons to be in PX. So I'm going to move from the chair that we do that. Well, is there any discussion on that motion? Being none, I'll put it all those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against, it's carried. Can we just give them a chance to turn the reporting off, please?